Hi, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of A Girl, a Guy, and a Movie. Today, we are reviewing the 1973 Richard Lester directed classic, The Three Musketeers. And oh my dear Lord, this movie is a banger. It is so good. Oh, wow, look at Janet. Arr. Hey, Janet, how are you today?
Hey, good.
Awesome. So, we watched this movie and I wanted to see it because it's been talked about by a lot of my friends. And okay, fine. Go through the casting list: Faye Dunaway, Raquel Welch. Okay, it's got the eye candy. Also, there's a small bit part of my favorite Sybil Danings in this movie. She plays a aide or a consort to somebody, and she's like one of my favorite 80s moms, not 80s moms, anyway, stepmoms, but
Was she
she's
the
in this
spy?
movie. Who?
Was she the spy?
uh let me get
The
you
woman who
exact.
went and told on
I believe she is.
no, I guess not. It said no, Rodney. Yeah, I think she was the one that went and told Faye Dunaway's character that she's sneaking around and seeing the Duke. So that's how that whole intrigue got going on that part of it.
She has just a little bitty part in it.
Mhm.
And for those of you wanting to know where Sybil Danny, hold on, she plays Eugenie.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
this and she's like, as far as IMDb is concerned, she's 10th on the list.
Yeah, but what did she? What character did she look like? Do you have a picture that you can share?
Um, okay, this is an older film, so most of these photos that are on IMDb, it just says the Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Here, Salkind, Richard Lester on set of Three Musketeers '73.
Hmm.
Got Faye Dunaway and Ilya Salkind. And when I
Yeah.
first, I thought that was a female's name. Nope, nope. Mr. Salkind is a Mister, not a Mrs. Oliver Reed, greatest drinker in the whole world.
Yeah, he was good
He was a great
in
drinker.
this movie.
He
Mhm.
pissed off Raquel Welch, though.
Now, who is that she's holding hands with? That I was trying to figure that out earlier.
I have no clue.
So, because I thought that she was dating somebody on set, somebody that was in this movie, but I
Well,
may be wrong.
Oliver Reed pissed her off, and so when there's a dance, I guess it was offset, but he'd
Yeah,
rather
he
dance
was
with her
dancing with her
hairdresser.
hairdresser.
Yeah, I'd rather go with the hairdresser than her.
Yeah, he probably did that on purpose because I guarantee she didn't let her do her hair after that if she was jealous.
Okay, so here, like on picture 18, it just says the Three Musketeers.
Hmm.
Three Musketeers. You can definitely tell who these guys are.
Yeah, but I want to
And,
see
and,
what
and
she
by the
looks
way, I believe I might be wrong, but the King of France
like. Hmm. Yeah,
is Jean Pierre Cassel.
yeah.
His son is Vincent Cassel,
Hmm.
and I don't know if you know who that is or not, but
No, I don't think so. I'd have to see what they're in. He looks familiar.
okay.
What has he been in?
Well, we probably you unless you watch Black Swan, he's a gentleman, Thomas Leroy.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, okay, I saw Black Swan years ago, and it was not fun for me. However, scrolling down, one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's got Vincent Cassel, Mark Dacascos.
Did they ride horses through the woods?
Yeah,
This is the movie. this is the one I asked you that I wanted to watch, and I couldn't remember the name of it. And I said, but it looks really good. And then I thought you put it on the list.
You've never seen this? Have you
No.
ever seen it before?
But I want to watch it because I like
Okay.
that actor.
We will.
Okay, good. And it looks really scary.
It's a very good suspense film. It was made at the same time in the wake of the Matrix, 1999. So this came out, and everybody wants to do slow motion with like 500 cameras on set with a little bit different angle, so you can do a really good pan around the set. So that's this movie here. It's a French version of the retelling of the Beast of Guerre, which I can't pronounce French shit with a lick, but I'm going to try anyway. It's fun.
So it's like a werewolf.
And there's a animal that they get. It is quite beastly. It looks like it's armored. Everybody thinks at first it's a werewolf. People are getting killed in parts of France. And it's just a very good political action film. And that's exactly what it is. You just have to watch it through the very end.
Yeah, I saw this trailer, and it was one of the movies that I wanted to add to the list because I'd never seen it, but it looked really good. And that guy right there, all the actors, I said, had great actors in it. I want to see this movie, and I couldn't remember the name of it.
Mark Dacascos, so it looks like he's in the Last of the Mohicans.
Mm-hmm. It looks kick-ass. It looks like a kick-ass movie.
It is a very kick-ass film. He was in John Wick Part 3. I forget the movies this guy's in, but he's in everything French cinema. He's in it.
Yeah.
The young Abe, Jeremy Renier, I guess, he's in a lot of French films as well. Vincent Cassel is the son of the man I just had up there from the Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
And he also was married to Monica Bellucci, the oldest Bond girl to date.
Oh, yeah.
Old, she was Inspector.
And she's still gorgeous.
Absolutely. She still gets rated number one best looking woman in the world. So that's just kind of helping you guys kind of trace things around. And Bruce,
yeah, I'm trying to read this. It was something I wanted to read.
I don't have a cork board with all the threads and pins on it yet. I will. Okay. So, yes, if you've ever seen The Howling Part 2, your stepmom's a werewolf, it's great. It's a horrible schlock film.
Yeah, I saw the first one, and I thought the first one was really good. But one of the things that I looked up, and it said that the cast stayed in a plush hotel in Madrid. Did you read that too?
Yeah, about the carrots and the goldfish.
Yeah, the Oliver Reed joke. I mean, I bet he was so much fun. Honestly, I bet he was kick ass to work with. Because some of the little trivia stuff that I was able to read, I was like, God, I bet he was so fun on set. But yeah, it said that he had taken all the goldfish out and put them in the tub in his room, and then had carrots carved to make them look like goldfish. And then the next morning dove in and started eating them to see what the people would do. I thought that was really good. But it said Richard Lester liked to film rehearsals and have a camera running continuously to capture anything unscripted. So that, honestly, if you think about it, that's really genius. It said he shot with multiple cameras, sometimes up to 5 on one take, rather than a typical single, camera style like lots of directors do. And then it said instead of using stand-ins for long shots and moving in for a close-up, Lester would film the entire scene from close-up to master shot at the same time. So that way he had anything he needed for the editors to make it very dramatic. I just think he was really, really smart and interesting. But this film kept me, intrigued through the whole movie because I'd never seen it till today. So it was really, really well done. And he did a great job directing this movie to have so much action in it. And the one scene, like I said, the laundry scene with the blue dye and stuff. And I love the one line that the actor that played the Duke when he looked down and he saw the women using their own legs to rub the clothes on because they didn't have washboards. They were just standing in almost knee deep water, right? And they were taking the shirts and twisting them and then rubbing them on their legs and then shaking them and then rubbing like that. And he said the next time he wore a shirt, he was going to think about all the work that went into cleaning it. I just love that. I thought that was such a good outtake of the environment that this whole movie was based around, because so much was done. Everyone did something. And the rich people that were so rich that they had ceilings that were 20 feet high, and rich tapestries hanging on the walls, and the curtains were just made, everything was just so rich, like you had to have tons and tons of money to have anything. And if you had nothing, you basically lived, in a shack with dirt floors and things like that. And your clothes were tattered and worn, even though your mother probably washed them and did the best she could, the fact that they were stained or whatever. So I could see why gray was like a very popular color back then, or tan, because there just wasn't a way to keep your whites white unless you were rich, and you could have someone taking care of everything and sewing everything for you and, and putting embellishments on it. But to me, I could just smell the air when you were walking around in the streets and you could see all where the horses had trotted through there and people and footprints and dogs, just everything just going on constantly. In the streets. It just seems so real. And from some of the things I read, they said it was over 100 degrees every day in some of the areas that they filmed to make this. So they were sweating with all the layers of clothing that you saw the people were wearing. So I just thought it was, and even in the bedrooms, you could see how high the ceilings were, and the decor in these rich houses with the giant, massive 4-poster beds, and it was just, I just thought it was beautiful. It's so rich.
Well, they filmed this in Spain, right? A lot
Yeah.
of this is filmed in Spain, and everything that I was reading about was that they didn't really have sets; they had locations, and they would just, kind of flash their credentials and they'd get things set up, and a few days would pass, and they'd pack up and move along. But everything in this movie looks like it is just fresh, like. Actually, it reminds me more of Zeffirelli's Romeo and Juliet watching this film, because everything is so authentic. Everything looks like
I felt
it has
like you were there almost.
yeah, like the way it should, and it's done proper. I've not seen a movie look like this, and this looks like $1 million. This movie's crazy. How much money did this movie make? Do you know?
No, I didn't have time to look that up. I just looked up a few things trying to work on who I was gonna dress up like one of the women from the thing, but I didn't have any outfits the color of any of the dresses except the white sleepwear that Raquel Welch was wearing when she was sleeping with her husband and her lover. So that's why. And then I put some braids, in my hair and everything to go with, because that's basically how she had her hair done in the movie. But I just thought that it was very authentic. Even the wardrobe that you see two of the characters get in to hide when certain people came to the soldiers or whatever came to the door.
Mm-hmm.
They came in and they were wandering around in the scene where he had his finger sticking out. I was laughing my ass off. I was like, it's so corny, but it was funny. It made me laugh when you were supposed to, just from the stuff that was going on. It was kind of a little bit of slapstick thrown in there, like when she fell down the stairs, and then when he looks down the stairs and she's all sprawled out with her dress on and her legs are up and everything. It was just funny. Raquel Welch, I know she didn't really fall down the stairs to make the scene, but you heard all the noise and then your big crash at the end with pans, and other things, clanking around. I just thought it was great. I thought it was really, really good.
So the movie cost about $4.5 million, and the American box office, from what I'm reading, it got about 10 million, which is a nice gentle amount. This is 1973, and
And
it
how
comes
much
out.
did that's like $2 a person or something back then? I
Yeah,
mean, I
keep in
don't
mind
know.
it's like $1 a person for matinee, and $2 a person for like the prime time,
Yeah.
the primary theater seats.
Hmm.
That's really respectable on a lot of levels. I'm very impressed with this movie, and this entire film is just one set piece after another. It When you watch it, I just I could not believe, like, holy shit, this movie just keeps getting better. And
It
I
was.
was reminded of the 1993 version only in the aspect that it comes off superior to the Disney or Miramax helmed Three Musketeers with uh, Sutherland and Platt and Charlie Sheen, and that's a fine movie in and of itself. But this movie just knocks it completely off its rocker. And I think this movie was released in December of 1973, so a lot of the box office might not have been counted because some of the box office from 74 wouldn't have tallied into that amount that I just gave you, 10.1.
And it came out in 1974 or
It came out in
73.
73, in December of 73, from what I see.
Okay, so oh yeah, so it was at the very end of the year. So you would the first 2 or 3 months is when you would want to add it up. So it
Yeah,
would go to the next year. But what other movies came out? In that December. Do you have a list?
I don't have a list. I haven't looked at that. I'm still too busy Googling over Raquel Welch and going gaga, because that's one of the greatest things I've ever witnessed was her in this outfit sparring with Faye Dunaway.
Oh,
Good.
I laughed so much because it was so stupid the way they fought.
You want to
Uh,
watch this movie, kids? Here's the link. No pass necessary. Click the link. Go straight to Fossum. Movie, hit play.
when
That's
Faye
it.
Dunaway pulled that one thing out of her hair and it had
Over
the
here.
three spikes on it, and she
Yeah,
was holding it like a ninja, and then she
yeah.
just kind of stands there like she was wanting to scratch her. I don't know. It was just
It was
dumb.
funny, but at the same time, like, they were trying to be as authentic as, like, Oliver Reed. You got Oliver Reed on set fighting people, and then everybody
Because you
else.
got to remember, these are ladies. These are
Yeah,
women that don't do their own hair.
there's
Basically,
no
they
Ronda
don't do
Rousey.
their hair. So they were like, they didn't know what to do. They were like, she just knew she had to have the necklace. She had to have that no matter what. And Faye Dunaway didn't want her to have it because she had to prove that that she was a cheater, basically, and useless to marry. So they were both going for it the best they could with the little bits that they had. So the worst you could do to each other was get food and put it on their clothes, stuff like that. It was just, I thought for sure they'd at least pull each other's hair or something, but they didn't. Boy, a good fight, in a Waffle House is more exciting than
Yeah, I'll say
the
that.
fight that we saw today. It was really, really funny.
It was. I'm sharing a little screen here. It shows all the people that were in the movie. So we're gonna see a lot of them that, like, hey, this is what he looked like back in the movie, and he died in this year, or she died in this year. Like
Oh,
Raquel Welch, she played Constance de Bonacieux.
yeah,
She passed just a few years ago now,
yeah.
and she's one of the most beautiful ladies this world's ever had walk on it. Not quite as cute as Sybil Danning, but she's up there.
I can't wait to see her because I'm trying to remember who she is. I want to see whether or not she was the one that went and spilled the beans or not.
I think she is.
So I think that was her character,
Yeah.
the brunette that was with
And
Raquel
Richard
Welch.
Chamberlain's been dead, I thought. Is he still alive? Are you kidding me? Richard Chamberlain's still alive?
Yes.
That fluffer?
Hmm.
No, he died in 25.
Oh, I thought he was still alive.
He died on March 29th of 2025.
Okay,
So
this year
this is a little
or
old,
this last year. Yeah.
just last year. Michael York, one of my favorite actors of all time. And he has that same
Still
mouth.
alive?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Okay. Wow.
I was very impressed with this movie all around. I mean, it's got the right look to it. The director of photography knew what he was looking for when he
Mhm.
shot this movie. And you have, I'll just get to the casting of this. Um,
Yeah. Christopher Lee. Oh,
yeah, Chris Lee was in this movie. David Watkin, he was used by Lester, the director, Rich Lester, quite a few different movies. Now, Lester and Salkind, the people that were writing this, those guys ran in a kind of like a cadre together.
mhm.
David Watkin, he was a cinematographer for this, Out of Africa, Memphis Belle. That's a great film. Chariots of Fire, and Catch 22. Which, oh my God, there is a movie for Catch 22. Who the fuck's in that movie?
Well,
Alan Arkin, Martin Balsam, and Richard Benjamin. Okay, that's on the list. But you know what we got to do first, and that's fucking 17 months of Clint Eastwood.
well, I found this about Christopher Lee. It says Christopher Lee's performance as in this movie was so influential that in every movie version since that his character has worn an eye patch, despite it not being
Yeah, it
mentioned
wasn't
in the
wasn't
original
in the
Musketeer
books.
books.
Wasn't
So
in the
him
books.
having the eye patch added something to his character for him being a badass, basically. So that's a like a badge of honor,
Yeah, it
honestly,
is.
think about it, for an actor to leave that type of mark.
And I got to say that Christopher Lee played this role, just nailed it
Hmm.
throughout. Like there, I used to think Michael Walcott was one of the greatest movie villains of all time because he was in this, and then the next year he was in the movie The Crow.
Hmm.
But he was walking in steps that Christopher Lee made. So I'm crazy for this film. This is great. Faye Dunaway, I think she passed last year too, didn't she?
I'm not sure, but it was recent. It wasn't that long ago, I don't think.
Yeah.
The guy that played his um the handyman, whatever that he
Oh,
picked up.
she's still alive.
Oh, she
Holy,
is still alive?
she's still alive. Her
I
and
thought
Rich
she passed
Chamberlain
away.
both. And Richard Chamberlain, I always make fun of him because he's a little fluffer from wherever he's from. But like he's like, I don't think he was supposed to get as high as he was, but he became a leading man, and a lot of people loved him. And then when he came out as gay, like I was looking at him like, you guys didn't look at him and just say like gay, really?
No. But the
Sorry,
actor Roy
Judge.
Kinnear,
Singing.
I guess, the part that he played in this movie, I loved. He did a good job in this movie.
Who
Uh,
did?
the Roy Kinnear, I think that's his name. He played the guy that the Fourth Musketeer
Ah,
rode with him and did all the stuff with him, carried his pack, and helped him. Like when he pulled that tree out of the ground by the roots.
D'Artagnan was the fourth musketeer, actually.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, the thing is, he was the fourth on this one.
Planchet, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved him. He did such a good. He was like the comedy relief, basically,
Mm-hmm.
for the
He kept it light.
Musketeers. And yeah, it was fun. It was fun because it was kind of funny, the whole thing with the lanterns, them trying to open and close the lanterns to be able to see each other when you could see them the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So that made it kind of hard.
Now you know he was Mr. Salt in Willy Wonka and a Chocolate Factory, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure about that because like that guy, he's been around Hollywood. He died in '88, but
But he was just funny in this movie.
in this movie he
The
played a
clown.
wonderful Planchet or
Oh, and
Planchette.
that actor right there in the black.
Rodney
Yeah, is that his name?
Rodney
The
Booze. Yeah,
spy.
he was the spy.
Yeah, the part where he's reading and he's saying he's kind of getting enjoyment about reading the transcripts from the spy that's listening in to the two women talking, and she's going off on how much she hates his boss, and he's like, "Oh, this is from from them, what they said, not how I feel." What it was just because you could see the fear on his face when he looked over and he saw him glaring at him like, "Why are you saying that about me?" It was so funny. That was a good scene.
Yeah, I remember Michael Gothard in quite a few films in the 70s and 80s too.
Mm-hmm.
William Hobbs played a good assassin in this movie.
I just thought it was hilarious how the one scene where the laundry's all hanging out and the nuns are all standing around on the balconies looking down when they first are going to fight, right? And then you see the I can't remember his name right this second. I went blank. I just went totally blank. Well, when they were going to fight and they showed up there to fight the new guy that wanted to join them.
D'Artagnan, right? Played by Michael York.
Yes. Okay. And then the other guys show up and tell them, we're going to have to fight you to keep you from, fighting here because you're not allowed to fight or whatever. And that whole scene, I thought it was hilarious. Where they used the sheets and the ropes and everything from all the laundry that was hanging up outside.
The fight choreography is so well done in this movie. William Hobbs did it, but yet this is a guy's movie that when you see this, you're like, what in the hell? How do they film that?
But to me, what was funny was when they fought with dignity, like when you walk up and you take your gloves off and you slap the guy in the face, which means you want to duel him, right? Mm-hmm. And how they didn't shoot each other in the back, they didn't stab each other in the back, that because there
she is.
A couple of times they would turn their backs to the bad guys and they didn't get stabbed. They did. I just thought it was funny how they trusted to turn their backs.
Do you really want to stab a guy in the back and be like, oh yeah, I got rid of that guy, I got him in the back?
Well, I mean, they do it today. They do it now. There's no dignity or honor in fighting today. They just kill anyone. They shoot you for a pair of tennis shoes. So, or rob a woman or beat a woman down to the ground and take, her $25 that she has on her. There's no dignity in it today. But that's one thing that really I kept. For some reason, in the back of my mind, I kept saying, I can't believe they turned their backs to these people because none of them stabbed the others in the back or, any of those things. So I just thought it, because remember in the spaghetti Westerns, that's when I found out that my mother said that I asked her about it. We were watching some old spaghetti Westerns with my grandmother, and I asked my mom, I said, why are they treating the women so bad, but they treat their horses really good? And she said, well, back then, if you stole someone's horse, you could be hung. But if you beat up a hooker, they didn't give a shit. Because women were nothing. They couldn't even have property or any of this stuff. And I was like, oh, I didn't, that's why one of the reasons why I wanted you to do the Bad Girls movie, because it kind of gave an idea of what it was like for women back then. If your husband died, basically you had to be a prostitute. There really wasn't anything you could do to make a living because you were worthless. You were worthless.
I'm sad to report, I just found this out as I was exiting some tabs, and T.K. Carter, the young man who's placed to Kurt Russell's right, the man on the left-hand side of the screen here, T.K. Carter has passed, according to California authorities. They found him unresponsive in his home.
Oh.
And he is no longer with us. He was in The Thing, Runaway Train, and Punky Brewster, along with many other various iconic roles of the 80s. Of course, my favorite role he ever did was he was Knowles in The Thing.
Who's throwing their nasty drawers in the trash can?
Yeah.
Remember that? And he's on roller skates.
Yeah, he was on roller skates.
It was an iconic scene. That was an iconic movie for him, I feel.
It was. I mean, that was a great film. And, I mean, we talked about that movie 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. We still talk about it.
Yeah, we still talk about that thing.
In our top 10, isn't it? In your top 10 movies?
It's in my
It is
top
for me
10.
too. So that's what we talk about a lot. It's a damn good movie.
Yeah. He was
So
found in his home, dead in Duarte, California. Uh, there's no foul play. Cause of death has not been disclosed. He was in Ski Patrol, Space Jam, Runaway Train, The Thing, Punky Brewster, Good Times, Waltons, Jeffersons, and my favorite, Martian. Pour one out for our homies, my friends. If you guys also, if you like what you see here with me and Janet's channels, respectively, whoever you follow, if you enjoy what we do, go ahead and smash that like button because that does help us with the algorithm. The algorithm is a crazy meth addicted pile of crap.
well, the way they've done it now, it's like they give you these little crowns or something. Because
Yeah,
I've noticed that when I've gone to people's chat, when you talk, they give you something or whatever. I don't know. It's a new reward program or something when they're
I'm
revamping
not a
it.
big fan of it.
So I don't
No,
know.
YouTube is YouTube is whack. Just follow us on Rumble. Follow us on Rumble. Don't follow us.
Well, I don't
anywhere.
have I'm not doing Rumble because you have it on Rumble. I have it on X in my YouTube, and that's it.
Fuck X. I'm never gonna have not that opinion because
Well, that's why I pay a month so I can, do
I
my
gave them
show.
$8 a month. They still took out for the month that I was on suspension, and then they just said, you know what, fuck your account. And I'm like, really, Dex?
Oh, sorry, it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, no offense, but I'm not a big fan of that site. It's not even really Elon. It's the people that he never evicted.
AI. He already said that it's basically Grok. That's how he's training Grok to run it.
Yeah, I'm done. I don't need AI in my life. Don't be looking at me and any correlations of any ruined data centers wherever my geographic footprint's at. Okay, kids, stop. Just saying. But I hate AI. I can't wait for my first hate crime for fucking destroying a toaster. Okay, so
I hate to say it. You can hate it all you want. It's still coming. There's nothing you can do about it.
that's fine. I don't have to use it. And if I find out that I can turn something off on the AI and make it dumb again, I'm not going to pass that opportunity up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my current experience with Windows 11 is causing me to look at Mint Linux build because that looks like a very good alternative to having to use Bill Gates' stupid idea of forced AI integration. Okay, I got to get off this and back on this movie. Janet,
Yeah.
you've never seen this film before. You've seen other versions of the Three Musketeers, right?
Yeah, I think I saw the one that you were talking about earlier when you said we're going to watch it. That's the one I thought we were.
No, we're going to watch that probably next year
No,
because
the one we're watching next week is like the continuation of this one, right? With the
correct.
same actors.
Yeah, it's the same actors, same director, same everybody, front and back of the camera. They made this movie. They were going to film a 4-hour version of it, and the Salkind directive became a thing after that because they realized not many people want to go to the theaters and sit for 4 hours. And this is before the time of Betamax and VHS.
Mm-hmm.
So, they got to make it count when it's in the theaters. They got to make it to where if you have this movie running for 6 months at a theater, that the theater that bought the reel of film, they made their money. They can't have a movie playing with only 5 people every Saturday watching it. That's just not productive. As much as I would love to see The Thing at theaters every weekend at midnight,
Yeah,
and have the opportunity to any given night on a Friday, midnight, and a Saturday, I can go watch The Thing. I would love that. But I would be one of 3 people there over 10 nights a year. I can guarantee that. I would be one of only 10 people that would attend that. And that I live in the seventh biggest city in the nation. So that breaks my heart.
Wow.
God bless you, TK Rowles. Okay, clankers. Are you a house clanker or are you a field clanker? Okay, so what we have is this film, which they broke up into 2 different movies, and at the end of it, you see D'Artagnan get his tabard He's now a true, honest to God musketeer. And
Mhm.
then you see the ladies starting to swap looks, and of course
Well,
Raquel
that's
Welch.
because basically it's because of his new clothes and stuff. He looked like he had means, and
Yeah,
I could see why when the authentic background for this movie, why a woman would be attracted to a man like that, especially if she thought she could snag him for herself,
I
because
mean,
he
all you gotta
money.
have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm done.
All you have to do is just have a fire bedroom game. That's it. You have a fire bedroom game
But
locked
you got to
down.
get them in the bedroom to see your fire. So you got to have something to attract them to the bedroom before that happens. You see what I mean? You can't
I'm
just be
just
walking down the street and say, "Hey, let's get married." It's not going to work that way.
not going to work that way. Correct. But the thing is that the women that we were focusing on in this film are not like rabble. They're not the milkmaid. They're not the jug girl. They're not the ones that are scrubbing the floors. The women that the camera lingers on for more than 10 seconds is Faye Dunaway. Uh, you got Sybil Danning, and you have Raquel Welch. And Sybil Danning's character is not even really a prominent one because as soon as she does what she has to do, her 10 seconds are up and she's off to her next B movie.
Hmm.
So we got Faye Dunaway and Raquel Welch that look like absolute beauties in this film, thanks to the threads and the thread count of that voluminous gowns and dresses that was so common back during the time that
Yeah,
was a thing. And
lots and
so a
lots of
woman that's wearing
hair.
something like that, or even a woman like dressed like how you are, you're not going to have a hard time finding a guy to be throwing his eyes at you like, I'd like to have a conversation with
Well, he just looked at her from across the hall. Remember
you. Yeah,
when he was in his skanky room and he was griping about it, and he looked across the hall and he saw this beautiful redhead in a green dress, and he was like, "What?" He just like, "Who's that?" He went nuts. He almost had instant fell in love with her instantly.
the
So
Thunderbolt. That's the
even though
Thunderbolt.
he found out she was married, he didn't care. He was still interested.
Of
He still
course.
wanted her for himself. And not just to a roll in the hay, because after they did have a roll in the hay, he still was pursuing her. So he was in love with her, and I just thought that was adorable. The whole infatuation that he had with her, I just love that. I thought it was very romantic. His childlike mannerism when he was with her, because when he was out with the guys, he was all macho and wanting to fight and kick ass, and knew he might die at any second if he got stabbed. Just right, he would die. It wouldn't just be a flesh wound. But
Mm-mm.
when he was with her, he was like, stammering, and he just didn't really know how to, he just wanted to he just wanted to ravish her every time he was around her, and I just thought that was very romantic.
I mean, for those that don't understand who Raquel Welch is, I will bring up a visual aid for you, and maybe you've seen this and maybe you've not. This is that a movie called Hanny Calder, 1971 Western film.
Oh, and she was also a Playgirl, right?
Oh yeah, Playboy.
Few
She was
times a
a
Playboy, yeah, but
pinup.
Playgirl. She was in Playboy magazine, so it makes her a Playgirl.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
We will watch Hanny Calder some point, probably next year, about the same time we review a movie called Terror on the Prairie. That's a film that Gina Carano did a couple years ago
Yeah.
for the Ben Shapiro Network. And true to form, we'll find an alternate means to view it. Yar, matey.
But was she wasn't the same woman that was in the Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston, was she? That wasn't her.
Hold on.
Because it was a that was a good looking woman too, but I don't think it was her.
Might be.
Because you also had
She was in 1 million years.
Anne
1 billion
Margaret.
years BC.
Anne Margaret was a famous actress then too, right? And
Yeah.
dancer.
Yeah,
And she
she
was
was. She
very,
was not in the Planet of the Apes.
yeah, I didn't think it was her. I thought it was, but it was some other like a French actress or something. She was very pretty. That was in Planet of the Apes. That played his mate, Charlton Heston's mate.
Yeah. Charles Nesson, Roddy McDowell, Kim Hunter.
Yeah, we need to do that movie.
At some point, it will.
We need that on the list.
I want to focus on Clint before we. I
I
want to
know.
give Clint his due before he leaves. Could say the same thing about William Shatner, but I think all the times I've talked about how I love the original series and the original Twilight Zone, the Terror at 50,000 Feet. I think I've given enough credit and vocal cheddar to William Shatner over the course of my life. Clint Eastwood. I don't think we've talked about Clint Eastwood films, have we?
I don't think so. Not yet.
And thank you for joking us today.
Oh, I meant joining. Sorry, I had to just
We
now.
just got Janet to come back from the Leering Center, so
Sorry, I was trying to get on there in case there was someone in my chat because I can't do it from here.
it's okay. Yes.
So I just logged into my YouTube on my phone so I could chat. But yeah, thanks for joking with us today. It's important.
We love the jokes.
But
So
yeah, I love Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, and I just think that our friend Nick, they're doing 5 weeks of Chuck Norris on their Toxic Tuesday show coming up on Tuesday.
Oh, Chuck Norris, yeah.
They'll be doing 5 more weeks of Chuck Norris, but that's always fun. Everybody will have a beard by the end of that series. Everyone, even the cast, even Davina Duckworth in chat will have a beard.
I'm thinking about maybe wearing a beard for one of the spaghetti westerns that you do, depending on which ones we do.
Well, we're going to do the Man with No Name first.
Okay.
That just has to be. I mean, we have to have the Man with No Name, otherwise there's no need for us to talk about Clint Eastwood. That's he was a guy that was on what, Gunsmoke or some country western show, not Big Valley, but Clint Eastwood was on a little western back in the 60s, and then somebody's like, "Hey, you look like someone I could make money off of," and then his career took off even harder.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. So I really appreciate what he's contributed to my life, and we're going to watch a lot of his stuff.
Wasn't he making movies back when Robert Redford made that Jeremiah Johnson? Wasn't that around the same time or not?
Yeah, same time. Correct.
Because I love that movie. That was one of my mother's favorite.
It was Rawhide. Thank you.
Rawhide. I've never seen that one.
What? You've never seen that show?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Nope. Sorry.
That's crazy because that's such a good show. But
there's lots of stuff out. I mean, it depends on like that one. What was it? A few weeks back when we were talking and we were naming off all these movies, and I go, I saw that one. I saw that one. I can't see a movie every weekend. I mean, who can afford that?
Next weekend, I won't be doing the game because I'm going to go see the. Well, I'll put it up to you guys in the Discord if you guys want to play next weekend.
Put it in the chat because maybe
not in the chat. It'll be for the Saturday game because I have tickets for the Fellowship on Friday.
I'm talking about to tell the people in the chat what you're doing, and if they want to get tickets, they might want to go see it too.
I don't know if this is nationwide. I really don't because it looks like Fathom is doing 25th anniversary for the Lord of the Rings series, although it's not quite.
Because they have it in Arkansas.
Okay.
It's in Conway. That's where I'm going to try to see it.
I wasn't certain because from what I'm seeing, they don't have this in all markets. So you have to check your Fathom theater.
Yeah, it's in, I can't remember the name of the theater. I was going to look it up. Or the name of the theaters that they're going to share.
Cinemark is one.
Cinemark, that's it.
But they're doing the 3 movies Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to go see it, go see it. I'm debating on seeing the 2 Towers and Return of the King because if I do the 2 Towers, I'm not running a game. And I really like running a game on Saturdays. I know that sounds like, wow, Bruce, you're a control freak, but yes, I am. And I love The Fellowship. That's like the movie that I really just enjoy watching because the characters come out so well in that. The Two Towers and Return of the King are really great films too. They're both excellent in their own right. And these are not the theatrical releases; they're the extended editions. So you're going to be in the theater for about 4 hours. Good luck if you had gallstones taken care of. So you're going to have good food, good beer, good drinks, and get to watch a great movie. But that's going on next weekend. And I'm thinking about skipping Saturday just to watch the Two Towers. But at the same time, I could stay home, save $26. That's including my food, drinks, etc. And I could just enjoy things with the game table.
Well, what would you spend the 20 something dollars on?
$13 for the movie, and another $12 on popcorn and drink.
If you didn't spend it at the theater watching a movie you love, what else would you spend it on? That's what I meant.
What else would I spend on the $26? Well, it would be later during the week. It would probably be like Whataburger or Burger Boy.
See? So just buy something else and make it at home and go and splurge and go see a movie that you actually like to sit and watch. A comfortable chair. Maybe someone will go with you. Maybe
it's a debate. It's a debate. I'm having the debate in my head.
I know, but is Chris going to try to go see it too?
Oh, we're going to go see Fellowship together. We're going to go ride together and see Fellowship.
Okay, well that's something. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's all going to depend on what's going on with me with jury duty. What's going to happen with me? And I'll find out tonight. I got to call tonight and find out if I'm on the docket or not. I have to drive 88 or 98, almost 90 miles to go to court.
And baby girl's like, you got to go see it. Seeing that in the movie house would be great.
Yeah,
I know.
It would be. I think it would be. I love going to movies, and I love movie popcorn. I know it's just the way it's made, but it's just something special about it. Getting to sit in it. I would go see this. Honestly, if there was a place, a theater that you could go and you had like 20 different movies to choose from. And I mean, like there was a website and they would take a vote every month on different movies for the next month. Like each weekend, which movie would you want to see? Either this one or this one for each weekend. And then people vote. And then so you go show up at a $2 theater or whatever and get to watch an old movie from years ago at a movie theater. I think that you could probably make a living. I wish I had money. I would do something like that because that would be fun.
Yep, that's Clint Eastwood and Rawhide. He was Roddy Yates.
Wow.
If you are able to watch,
John looks so much like his dad.
Yeah, Scott Eastwood looks a lot like him.
Is he still doing movies and stuff or not?
I don't know.
Because Kurt Russell's son looks like him too.
Kurt Russell's son just needs to start making fucking Snake Plissken movies. That's all there is to it.
But then he's remaking his dad's stuff.
I don't care.
To make his own niche.
No, Janet. We need more Snake Plissken. I want more Snake Plissken. I think if I brought this argument to our good friend Jolly or to our friend Tommy of the Guinea Pig Collection.
I loved him in Overlord. I thought he was really good in it.
I just hate the movie Overlord.
Well, I know, but you might not like the movie, but his character
was great. He was basically playing Snake Plissken.
And those were the kind of movies his dad made when he early in his career too, and later, that made him a star was the ones like that, like Escape from New York and The Thing, Escape from L.A. I mean, look at what he did in his older self. He did the Bone Tomahawk movie. So
I'll be watching that here very shortly.
Yeah, it's oh my god. It was
that movie is just the trailer for it looked grisly, and I'm like, I can't wait to watch this.
It is.
Mobius reports that they're showing a Lord of the Rings trilogy up in Kazakhstan, where they say Allahu Akbar before they run through a sidewalk with a truck.
Well, they won't be going to see it, I'm sure.
How much do you get paid for jury duty, Janet?
Okay, from the paperwork that I got, it said that I'll get paid $50 for the day when I go. But they'll pay me, I think it's around 70 cents a mile. for how if you have to drive over 80 miles, they pay you for that. And if I do get chosen for a federal jury pool, or for to sit on the jury, then they'll put me up in a hotel there. So I'm going to have a bag packed. I got to pack a bag after we're done, just in case, because pajamas and everything I need. And then if I stay there, because I don't want to have to drive back and forth every day, then I can stay in the hotel and just have different shirts to put on with my jeans while I'm doing it, in case we get sequestered or something. Because who knows what kind of federal case I might get on. That'd be cool.
Before I started my current career of being a septic professional, I could go like a couple days in jeans and not worry about like having to throw each day's pair of jeans in the wash.
Mm-hmm.
And I think most people are like that. Most, not all.
Oh yeah, I like the movie Expendables. I wouldn't mind doing that movie on here. But he's saying one with all Kurt Russell characters.
The first one, yeah, we'll have it'll be all Captain, Jack Burton, Captain Ron. You got McCready, all the Elvis. Because
which character? If you could only pick one character of his, which character was your favorite? Snake Plissken?
No, Jack Burton. Jack, I am a.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that movie.
All Through the Blood is nothing but Big Trouble in Little China, Janet.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
Ever since I saw that movie in 1987 in a friend's basement, that movie has been on the top of my list of why we need nice things, and that movie is perfect reason why we need nice things.
So you were madly in love with Kim Cattrall then?
No, not really. I actually liked the girl that Miao Ying. I thought she was really pretty. I had rice fever when I was a young child because there was no Japanese in our town, and my grandfather, if he would have ever heard me say that, I would have been hung out in the laundry. I would have been dead.
Because I want to put Porky's Backyard, Porky's movie or whatever on the list too. I think we have it on there, right?
Yeah, Porky's one.
Yeah, the first one.
Not Porky's 2 and not Porky's 3.
I haven't seen those two, so Porky's is the only one.
You just have a mental image of what a movie should be, and just keep that close to your heart, Janet, because Porky's 2 and 3 are kind of disappointing.
I don't know. I really don't go see a lot of the sequels of movies. So
I'm a loon. If a movie I like gets a sequel, even if it's only for a budget of $5, I want to see it.
I didn't go see the second Gremlins. I only saw the first one.
Okay, Janet, we need to see Gremlins Part 2 first. That'll be our first weekend of December movie for this year. Because
Pee-wee's Big Adventure, that's a good movie we can put on the list too. We got a lot of movies on the list already. I mean, how many would you say is on there, Bruce?
Right now, on the average, we have before I added the Clint Eastwood chronology of great films. Before we had that addition, there was approximately 78 movies that I had picked, and an equal amount that you had picked. So 78 times deuce.
Yeah.
That's roughly 156 films. And that gets us about 3 years of things, unless you decide, I'm just going to do jury duty for the next 7.5 months.
I can't do that. But to see, the good thing is, if I go and they don't call my name because it's like computer generated, and they pull a name and they'll come out in the hall and say, is so-and-so here? And they'll bring you in, into the thing, and then they interview you to see whether or not the defense wants you or prosecution or whatever. And then once they get their 12, then they let everybody leave. But if you get picked for a jury and then you're done, you don't have to go back. But see, they have a whole thing where you're on a jury pool for a whole month. So they keep calling the same people back unless you've been picked. See, like that's how it works because Arkansas doesn't even have as many people in our whole state as the city of New York. So, to me, it's kind of smart the way they do it. So I'm going to take my crocheting with me and a couple of batteries for my phone, and I'll sit and crochet a couple things, depending on what happens.
So I'm just going to say that I'm looking at the timeline of Clint Eastwood releases,
Mm-hmm.
and he was on one episode of Mr. Ed in 1962. Is that right?
Mr. Ed. That
Mr.
was a
Ed, 1962, right? The Talking Horse.
Okay, yeah.
And he was on the episode called Clint Eastwood Meets Mr. Ed, 1962. That's the name of the episode. So he'd been working in Hollywood for about not even 10 years. He's got a name for himself. And the episode name is Clint Eastwood Meets Mr. Ed. Mm-hmm. Season 2, episode 25. In 64, him and Sergio Leone release A Fistful of Dollars. And by this time, he's been on Rawhide leading that show for about 3 years. So that's when his real ascent came into play. Because he was already a TV star. And he Rawhide ends in 65, the same year The Few Dollars More comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So this, I mean, I know some of you guys already know this stuff, but I'm going through a period of discovery. I'm enjoying the shit out of this. And I can't wait to start this. But next week, if you are not aware, we are watching the Four Musketeers. And our friend from Philadelphia has made his way in. Flady, how you doing, sir? Flady, I didn't realize that Philadelphia was such a rough town. I knew it was rough, and I knew you guys have problems, but I forgot about Fat Albert being set in Philadelphia. We did a little bit of talk about Fat Albert yesterday night. I don't know if you remember that, Janet, but
yeah, because remember I said I was trying to remember what their names were.
I couldn't remember all the
Fishmouth. I think was one of them.
Mushmouth, Lampshade.
Mushmouth, that's it.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't remember. And then Fat Albert.
But we're gonna watch that starting in 3 weeks. There's one more film that Janet had mentioned that I'm gonna put that on a schedule 2 weeks from now. But next week we're watching the film The Four Musketeers. And if you've seen the movie The Three Musketeers, 1973 by Richard Lester, the same director that directed Superman 2 and Superman 3. I don't really mention Superman 3. I don't. That's not a good movie. But I'll mention it.
Who was Superman in that one?
Christopher Reeve. And he also had Richard. He had Richard Pryor as
I liked all his movies.
No.
I loved them all.
Flady hears somebody mention Hometown, and he's like, "Isn't that a little shithole?" We're gonna have Donald Trump go in there and clean it up. You guys are gonna get like new streets. Everything's gentrified. No new taxes. It's all tariffed out. Okay. If you've seen the 1973 version of the Three Musketeers, and I recommend if you've not, you should. I even have the link up here for you. It's up in the chat. You can go watch this movie at no cost to you except for time. It's like an hour and a half, no, 2 hours. Go to Fossum.tv. It's in there. There's your link. And that happened at if you're Central Standard Time at the 15:57 mark, which is kind of weird. It said 15:57, so almost at 58 after.
What does that mean?
3 o'clock, 3:58 almost.
You have military time on your computer?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
Well, I do. I like military time.
I didn't know you could do that.
When I explain things in terms of time to people, they look at me weird, but I don't hear them say, "Oh, I thought you meant 6 o'clock in the evening." No, I don't have to have that argument. So, nothing beats Motel Hell or people under the stairs tacos. That's true. Christopher Lee's performance in this movie influenced later roles for the character. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. Michael Walcott played a great villain in the 1993 version of this movie until you see this and you're like, wow, this movie rocked.
I wanted to say a few things about one thing that I found was very interesting to show you that how hard all these actors worked to try to make the fight scenes very authentic. There was a bunch of injuries on set, and I wanted to read a couple of them. It says one of them it says Raquel Welch and Faye Dunaway worked with trainers to make their big fight scene as physical and brutal as Lester wanted it to be. It said the rehearsals went fine, but when Dunaway pushed Welch for the reel, Welch lost her footing and fell and sprained her wrist. So even one of the women got hurt. And then it said Oliver Reed was severely injured and almost died when he was stabbed in the throat during the windmill duel scene. So, and then there's more because a lot more people got hurt during the laundry scene, but they really had injuries because they used real weapons when they were fighting, and that's why it was so realistic because they really were fighting. You know, they were really dueling. I mean, not to kill, but to make it as lifelike as possible. So I just wanted people to know that because we didn't talk about that earlier. So. Says here, York remembers doubling for his injured stunt double. He later resorted to stuffing his script inside his clothes for protection. Well, that makes sense too. So, and you couldn't put the little ball on the end of it. You know, like sometimes they'll do that with trainer swords and stuff. They put this little metal ball. It has a metal ball on the end. So it can't actually really pierce you. It hurts still, especially with use force behind it. But because then it wouldn't look very real, would it? If they all had these little balls on there. And I don't think they really had a lot of really good editing stuff like they can do that today.
No.
In 1973 or whenever it was, and they filmed it. So
I think the editing game really took off around 75, 77. And one of the first big directors really start abusing that was John Landis. And you see it in a little bit in Animal House, but when he does the movie American Werewolf in London, the editing really pops. That editing in that movie just completely pops, and it goes completely for the gold, for the gusto.
Well, one of the other things I read, it says the stunt people were terrified of Oliver Reed due to his sheer ferocity when it came to the fight scenes. He would often leap in without rehearsing. It got to the point where they would draw lots to see who would have to face him. It says, Sir Christopher Lee recalled, I remember during a fight scene, he came in with me with both hands on his sword like an axe. And I paired it and stopped totally. I said, I think we'd better get the routine right. And then I said to Oliver, do you remember who taught you how to use a sword? Don't you forget it, because it was him, I think, that taught him right.
Just really taught him how to use the sword.
I just thought it was funny because he was very spirited, just like I said, and he was a jokester because he's the one that took all the goldfish out of the pond at the hotel and put them in his bathtub in his room so he could put fake goldfish that were made out of carrots in there, and then leaped in there and started eating them like he was an animal to see what people would do. So he must have been a lot of fun on set.
Oliver Reed is one of my fucking heroes. As much as it sounds weird that I would have such a self-destructive individual that I look up to,
Yeah.
I think Oliver Reed is such a charming individual. He's so funny to listen to the stories from various casting directors and people. There's a book called Hellraisers.
Yeah.
And it's about the drunks of Hollywood at a certain period of time, with an intersection of time where you got Peter O'Toole, Richard Burton, Oliver Reed. Okay. So the life and inebriated times of Richard Burton, Richard Harris, Peter O'Toole, and Oliver Reed. And this is going to be on next week's buy list for my Amazon. But it's called Hellraisers. And it's the
Yeah.
story of drunken binges of near biblical proportions, parties and orgies, broken marriages, riots, and wanton sexual conquests. Indeed, acts so outrageous that if you or I had perpetrated them, we could have ended up in jail. Their mercurial acting talent and love for the press and the public allowed them to get away with that kind of behavior that today's film stars could scarcely dream of. They were the last of a breed, the last of the movie Hellraisers, and this book traces the intertwining lives of Burton, Harris, O'Toole, and Reed, plus an assortment of other movie boozers who crossed their path. It's a celebratory catalog of their miscreant deeds, a greatest hits package, as it were, the most breathtakingly outrageous behavior, told with humor and affection. You can't help but enjoy it, and after all, they bloody well did. God put me on this earth to raise sheer hell, says Richard Burton. I don't have a drink problem, but if that was the case and doctors told me I had to stop, I'd like to think that I would be brave enough to drink myself into the grave, says Oliver Reed. I was a sinner. I slugged some people. I hurt many people, and it's true. I never looked to see the casualties, says Richard Harris. Booze is the most outrageous of things, most outrageous of drugs, which is why I chose it, Peter O'Toole. So this is a book. A lot of people have bought it. A lot of people have enjoyed the shit out of it. And it's got a 4.3 out of 5 rating, a lot of 5-star ratings right there. And was put out 14 years ago this year. Looks really good. If you ever do look at the list of alcohol Oliver Reed had on the night he passed, whenever a British destroyer pulled up in Malta, and he's like, I'll challenge all of you to a drinking contest. Holy shit. No wonder the guy's dead. That would have killed most military light infantry battalions. The guy
Do you want me to read off what he drank? Because I took a photo.
Yeah, the guy's a champ.
Yeah, I looked up the trivia, and it said he died of a heart attack in a bar after downing 3 bottles of Captain Morgan's Jamaican rum, 8 bottles of German beer, numerous doubles of famous Grouse whiskey, and Hennessy cognac.
You ever have grouse?
5 much younger Royal Navy sailors at arm wrestling. So, and his bill ended up being a total of over $600 for what he did. And then it said that the other thing I found was that it said Reed died during the filming of the movie Gladiator, and it cost the company $3 million to recreate his face so he could appear in the scenes that he had left to shoot. So yeah, it was a shame, but he could drink like a fish apparently. So the whole thing he did with the goldfish, I could see why. But yeah, I couldn't even one shot of cognac and I would have been throwing up. So cognac tastes like shit. Ugh.
Not it.
I did not like it. So anything else you want to talk about? One thing I wanted to say was this. I forgot. Watching the movie and seeing York at the very beginning after he's fighting, and you see the black and white background, scenes and the sweat and him fighting, I guess, with his father, right? And then he's all covered in sweat and everything, and they're in a barn. Like the dad was working out in the barn, and he gave his son his letter of recommendation and some other stuff, and his sword to go and try to become a musketeer. So that was like the father handing off the torch to his son. And he said, go tell your mother goodbye. I loved that part of it. And then you see him on horse, and he's on a giant Clydesdale, absolutely gorgeous horse. But you needed those kind of horses to work the fields and things like that, compared to the slim, beautiful leaping horses and stuff that you get when you become a swashbuckler, basically. So you could run fast and leap over fences and things like that. But I just loved it. But the thing is, when he showed up and you see the musketeers, and they're all in like real fancy duds and stuff, and he's still wearing his duds from when he was a farm boy, basically. And they're torn and tattered, his hat's all torn. All I could think of was how bad he must smell, and everyone else, because the street people, when they're walking through the street of the city, you look down and you see it looks like 3 or 4, 5 inches deep of mud, and there's like horses pooping as they're walking along, and then dogs on leashes and just running free, and they get chickens. There's all this stuff, and then all the people are all grungy looking and dirty. And I was thinking, oh, you don't even think about it today, because we have access to taking a bath every day if we want, after working in the yard. So, but just think about it. Also, from what I was reading, it was over 100 degrees every day. And they're all wearing layers and layers of clothes. And it was like, and then they're doing all these action scenes and stuff. I bet everybody just reeked, but back then in the 1600s, like 1630, you stunk. So that reality sunk in. I was like, ooh, I'm thankful I didn't live back then because of the smell.
What's your rating of this movie, Janet?
I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this movie's it's a 91 for me.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's very well done. It's breathtaking scenery. The fight scenes are freaking awesome. You get a good laugh. It's got lots of romance, but you don't see any TNA, which I loved, because the scene where Raquel Welch sits on the edge of the bed with York, and he's talking to her about, you can't go see the Queen because you haven't washed your legs. Right. And I was thinking about it because a lot of people don't, you wash your face and hands basically, and that's all they could do, because they had a little basin, you'd put water in it and be able to or wash your pits, that one of those type of baths. But then all of a sudden you see him put his arm around her, and they're getting a little more intimate because she's a married woman. And it's in his room, that he's renting, and he kind of just slowly, they lean out of the camera, under the bed, and you don't have to see anything because what's happening,
Fine.
And then later he's very, he's just all like, an animal wanting to, every time he sees her, he's just all over her with his hands, wanting to, not being but he was a gentleman though. He was wanting to hug her and stuff like that. I just thought it was fun. It was a good, fun movie.
Well, for those of you that don't know what the Four Musketeers is, talk to Janet next week. We're going to be watching this film in her Discord.
Yeah, if you want to watch it, let me know. We'll invite you, and you can watch us around 12:30.
Before we go to the trailer for Four Musketeers, I want to have you read the ratings here that we got coming in.
Okay.
This baby girl loves you. What'd she say?
It's 8 stars. Well, she must have liked it pretty good too then. The Three Musketeers / Four Musketeers is great films. Excellent cast, costumes, locations, fight choreography, etc. One of the best adaptations I've seen, and 90 out of 100 hands down. Definitely. Do you know what though? This really was better than the Three Musketeers I remember seeing from what was it, from the 90s?
93. Yeah. This is head and shoulders
better. I mean, I don't know. I seemed like there was lulls. I remember being parts where I was like, I could look away or talk to my friend or whatever. This one, it wasn't like that. I was watching through the whole thing, laughing, or going, thinking, like when he fell down in the well backward, that kind of stuff. There was always something about to happen, and it was just fun. It was just really fun, entertaining.
Well, for those of you that don't know, Mobius also says about the worst thing you can do is push a downhouse back about 5 feet. It makes rude for awakening for taking the midnight piss.
Yeah, it was nasty. Oh, that reminds me of that one scene where there's a guy and he's got a couple animals around him, and he's cutting up lettuce. The kind that grows real tall.
Yes.
And he's cutting that up. Then all of a sudden you see the window above him open up with the 2 little windows like this. And it's a woman, and she has, like, you could tell it's a shit bucket. And she just goes out like that and just splatters on him. And I gagged. I almost threw up because I could almost smell it You know what I mean? It was that realistic. It was pretty gross to live back then. Ooh, it's just disgusting. I'm so thankful I don't. Now, what's this? This is going to be for the next week's movie.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so for those that aren't familiar with this movie, come visit us next week. We're going to be watching this, and here's the trailer.
These are scenes from The Three Musketeers, the most widely read novel of all time, and a world-acclaimed motion picture.
Oh,
But the whole story has not yet been told. There's much, much more.
happened to get the second movie? What happened? You know, the stuff that we dug up about the movie being too long.
Yeah, they were going to make a 4-hour film, and nobody wants to sit for 4 hours. I mean, we just had The Godfather 1 and 2. Like,
Yeah.
So,
So they decided to make two. But what happened when they did it, not telling people they were going to do it?
they made a provision because the script writers were they weren't bad people. They just, they'd never done anything like this before. So
Mhm.
anytime you have something breaking new ground, this is exactly what happens. And it worked out. We all got two really grand movies.
Mhm.
And we had the people that were part of the setup for this, Ilya Salkind and Alexandre Salkind and Michael Salkind. They're the producers of the film.
Mhm.
They made them basically put a new provision in Tinseltown, where if you're going to do a movie with sequels, actors have to know when, and they have to be able to plan ahead. And so that was the other thing that this movie is very famous for in Tinseltown, because when you start talking about, hey, we're going to do the Three Musketeers, people start rubbing their hands together, and they're like, ooh, we're going to do like three movies like what they did with this set. There's a third movie in '89 they released, The Return of the Musketeers, which is a sequel with the same people, the same director of photography, the same director, the same cast.
Mhm.
And it wasn't as good, but it was a translation or a rendition of the stories that Alexandre Dumas had given us.
Well, I saw something in the trailer. It pissed me off.
Well,
It looked like he was in bed with Faye Dunaway, the enemy,
it does.
instead of
Does
Raquel Welch. So that kind of pissed me off. So I'm already going to go
okay.
into it mad. Because he's supposed to be madly in love with her, and you don't do that if you're in love. Right?
Correct.
Well, this is what I want to read. It says the film was intended to be an epic that ran for 3 hours, including the intermission. But during production, it was determined the film could not make it announced released in the form because it was too long. So they made a decision to split the film into two shorter features. The second part becoming The Four Musketeers in 1974. Some actors knew of the decision earlier than others, and by the time of the Paris premiere, all of them were informed. George MacDonald Fraser records the evening, said that not all the actors knew about it and didn't discover until the Paris premiere, and they began the dinner for the company that they were really pissed off that when they found out about it. So I said that Charlton Heston knew, for when we discussed it before dinner, he shrugged and remarked, two for the price of one. This change incensed the actors and crew because they were being paid for one film, and their original contracts made no mention of a second feature, resulting in lawsuits being filed to receive compensation for salaries associated with the sequel. So
Mhm.
I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's funny how that's how things change, is that when people feel that they're being used and abused, they decide to take action and do something about it. So now this wouldn't happen today, but I'm sure it happened many times before the lawsuits and stuff worked to make changes in the way that movies were filmed and contracts were written. So I think it's great. I mean, I'm glad that they were able to figure it out, because honestly, when we got to see Lord of the Rings, we knew it was going to be a trilogy. And I like when they do that. I like it when they film it, together like that, because that's, to me, is very smart. Because then if it's supposed to be right after, the actors don't look like they're 10 years older, you know
No.
what I mean? Which really takes you out of the story. So the fact that we're going to get to see this one next week and get to see the actors, at the same age as they were, because it was done at the same time, it's going to be really good. Because I'm just like I said, I instantly got pissed off when I saw him in bed with Faye Dunaway. I'm like, heck, I don't even think she's this pretty, and she's getting, see, because she's blonde. I'm telling you, the blondes can get all the men they want. They can have them eating other hands.
So that's kind of everything I have to say about today's show. And I know that's kind of a short discussion we had, but this is a movie that I think everybody needs to see. I don't give that recommendation that often. It's a 91 out of 100 for me.
Yeah, that's really high for you.
It's almost the perfect film, and for the fact that it is 52 years old or 53 years old,
Yeah.
be 53 in December. This movie is far and away one of the I don't know why my microphone just muted. Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. So this film, it's a 9.1 out of 10. I think this is one of the better movies that you could sit down and watch on a holiday with your family. If you've got young ones that they like romping around the house, this is definitely a movie that will inspire them to have more shenanigans and fly through the living room. I think this is one of those movies that you guys will really enjoy as a family together. If you've got friends that are uncultured, show them this movie. This is one of the best films that.
And nobody died, did they?
No, a lot of injuries.
A single person dying, but they got a lot of injuries and a little bit of blood here and there, but no guts and no heads being chopped off. No, you get lots of cleavage, but you don't see any boobies, no nudity. So
it's not a requirement for a great movie.
Well, I know, but for a family movie, it is. If you're going to have your 12 or 13-year-old kid watch it with you.
Yeah, you can't do that with the Big Lebowski.
Yeah. So. No. But this one you could. You could have your young teenagers watch this with you.
And I would recommend you have your young teenagers watch this. This movie has got some excellent,
really, really fun.
And I'll say one thing where the Disney Miramax 1993 version does succeed. A lot of the prose, a lot of the quotes are almost straight out of the book for that version. They're not completely accurate, but they get a lot of the words right, and a lot of the discussion of the young men when they go winching, the fine art of winching. I didn't really see a lot of winching in this movie as much as I wanted to. That was the only part about this film that I was kind of disappointed on, because you do see Charlie Sheen and Kiefer Sutherland and Oliver Platt go winching with their young D'Artagnan friend, and he manages to grab the milkmaid, which she's a looker. But this movie, I did not see that, and that's the only real negative about this movie. They could have had a little bit more, but maybe they wanted to have it so lighthearted And a lot of the fight scenes, they're not really superior in blood, but the sword play is good. It's a very brutal movie. Also, Oliver Reed is not a good fencer, and so in every fight except for one, I think he gets disarmed, and he just comes out as a brawler, which is
Yeah.
why the movie,
He's brute force.
yeah, he's completely brute force, and I'm here for it. I love watching him fight.
But that's what made them different. See,
Yes,
I think that's what made the Three Musketeers so special in the first place, because each of them had their own technique when they fight, you know, like you would personally anyways. Every boxer that gets in a ring and fights, they add their own little twists to certain things, and that's why one will be successful over the other. And that's what makes it good and exciting, is you don't know what to expect from each of them during a fight, because each of them use different things at different times, depending, like, and that's why they just say, oh, well, we'll let him finish this fight, he can catch up with us later. They all just leave because they feel that each of them have their own way of fighting now, except for the youngest one, because you could tell that Oliver Reed's character kind of took a light shine to him and looked out for him. You know what I mean? It was a little bit more aggressive for him than he would be with the other two guys, which I like, because it made it a little bit more personal, like a little brother, you know? So I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good.
thought this movie's fantastic. Can't wait for next week. Looking forward to all this. For those of you that want to see more of this film, want to be involved with this, talk to Janet. She's going to be available to discuss where you can go see this movie, The Four Musketeers, with us next week on Sunday. So it should be about 12:30 Central Standard Time that we're all together, and meet some fun people in the theater there, and we'll hang out. And then afterwards, we just do.
You're not going to be watching your movie on Sunday?
I'm going to throw it up in my Discord for the gamers, if they want to play or not. If they don't, I get it. And
Well, I mean, are you going to? You only going to watch the movie on Saturday, or I thought it was a 3-day movie?
on Friday, I'm going to go see Fellowship. I'm debating on Saturday or not.
Oh,
if I
okay.
do Saturday, then I don't run a game. I really want to run a game. I really want to run. I want to finish Slumbering Czar badly.
Mm-hmm.
No offense, it's a great adventure, but Janet, I've been
I
looking
haven't
at
been
that.
playing as long as you, so
I've been looking at that book since 2012.
I know, that's what I'm
I was-
saying. To me, I'm new at it. You know,
I was
it's only
38.
been what, 2 years now for me?
You're on your third year.
Okay,
You're
yeah,
on your
but
third
we play
year.
every other week, so it's not
No,
like
no. You play every week with us now.
No,
You're in both of my
every
campaigns.
other week for this game.
For this game, yes.
That's what I mean, for my characters. That's what I'm talking about.
And we are the furthest in this campaign that I've ever ran, because this party is very good at maximizing their potential, which I'm very proud of Chris and the other players for doing that. And I'm happy that you started to do that yourself.
Finally.
You're no longer a new player. You are no longer a new player.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me to it. It's been great.
I enjoy having you. I think you're a great player. I think you're fun to play with. I think you're energetic. You're enthused. You're jazzed about the campaign, which is why a lot of my friends and a lot of my peers on YouTube and other places want you in their games too, which is one of the main draws. Whenever Janet's in the game, she's all in. So that's something. I mean,
It's role playing.
yeah, and that's the thing. There was a friend of mine. She passed earlier this year, or last year. Ashley Slevin, Garrett's wife, and like, I was thinking about it the other day, and like, you and her are a lot alike in the aspect that, like, when it's time to play, like, God damn it, like, let me fucking play my character. I don't want to deal with bills. I don't want to deal with jury duty. I want to smite orcs, or I want to be a healer. I want to be, a force for good that can do something that can actually affect the world around me, instead of just paying my taxes and watching nothing change, and that's where you and her are a lot alike, because you guys are both in it. When it's time to run a game, let's play. And that's what I love having about you as a player, is you're all in for it. Anyway, as I finish up this little river troll, you guys have yourselves a great evening. Me and Janet will be back next Sunday to watch The Four Musketeers. Talk to her if you want to watch it with us. And we'll be here.
Bye, everybody.